Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look here at Bitcoin, kind of see what's going on, of course. And technically, we haven't had any news yet or updates from the Fed, so just keep that in mind. Go into this analyzation with a open mind because obviously we don't technically know what's going to happen here today regarding the news, right? But we're going to look strictly at the technical data here and kind of see what's going on. I would just exercise or recommend you exercise caution because that's what I'm doing, of course. I don't feel great about today being a green day just based on the simple fact that we still haven't heard anything from the Fed, and that can have a tendency of changing things. Of course, also bear in mind too that the one-day candlestick hasn't officially closed yet. Once we get closer to that point, we'll know a lot more about what's going on. I think it's a little premature just yet to kind of again jump in because you see a green candle here for today. Okay, just throwing it out there, of course. But if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, love teaching people how to trade. Hopefully you can learn a thing or two here today. I've got a trading academy if you want to become a better trader, and of course a community where we all learn and grow together. So awesome experience. I send out signals too as well for the signals that I take, or the trades that I take, so you can learn how to structure your trades effectively. Right? That's the whole point and purpose there. So taking a look here, of course, let's talk about the obvious. The 50-day simple moving average working as a nice support level here. We see 3 days in a row it could not break that plane. Today being a fourth day, effectively increasing. So that does show that is holding strong as a nice support level. So this could very well be the bottom if you were to kind of consider that. Just bear in mind that moving average does continue to progress down a little bit lower. It might eventually come down to about 41,000. Depending on obviously the price action, right? So just keep in mind, this is still moving down, so to speak. So it wouldn't be a surprise if the price progresses with it. But on the same accord, we can just be happy with the fact that it's working as a support level for now, and that's a good sign, right? Looking at the 50 and the RSI, we can see this here working as a support level as well. Traditionally speaking, the price didn't even come all the way down to that point, but normally what you see is that the price bouncing off of 50, and when you see a price under 50 on the one-day chart, that implies more bearish sentiment. So we're still overall bullish on the macro, right? So there's nothing to be super concerned with at this point. I think we're in really, really good shape there. And ultimately, too, here as well, and this is not great, but it's not terrible either because to me, it takes a little while for this to kind of mature. And honestly, I prefer to use a smaller time frame, like a 4-hour time frame, to really use the MACD convergence or divergence, so to speak. We can see that it was trying to diverge here recently, but didn't, right? So it's moving back up, so to speak. So we could see a continuation of the upside essentially with that happening there. So that really is null and void. I wouldn't worry too much about the MACD on the one day. It hasn't told us that we have a shift in momentum at all, which is good. It essentially helps. That's what this green candlestick here today did, right? It allowed for this bounce, so to speak, to happen. Now, keep in mind, again, the candlestick hasn't closed yet, so that could change. But between now and then, of course, a lot can happen. So again, go into it with an open mind and kind of try to think big picture here. What's going to happen later if the news is terrible, right? If the likelihood of just say the interest rate goes up, then we could see an inverse with the price. So that could happen. So just be aware that that might be a potential eventually. For right now, it is what it is, and it looks decent on the macro. We're not in terrible shape by any means. Right? Now, the 4-hour is the one that's kind of the major, I would say, catalyst, so to speak. In other words, this translates into the macro. So, for lack of better terms, if we see the price getting almost rejected on the 50, right? That tells us we could see that as a resistance level. Now, this hasn't officially closed yet, right? This 4-hour candlestick. So this little leg up, so to speak, hasn't officially happened. Until it closes above that, we got to, kind of act as if that hasn't happened yet. But if you can see this 50 on the RSI is very synonymous with the price action right around 42,800. That's a key level resistance that's proven to be a resistance plane in the past, or a support level in the past, now a resistance. So in that sense, until we can break above 42,800, I wouldn't have a lot of confidence on the midterm here for Bitcoin to transition into a bullish type of convergence, so to speak. We're still effectively bearish, even though, yes, it's been about a 24 to 48 hour sideways action. That was weekend data, okay? We want to use more so the weekday data to help us understand what's going to happen. And again, a little premature in that sense to truly evaluate that. So again, we're not quite there yet, but truth be told, we do have a convergence on the MACD. Traditionally speaking, on the 4 hours time frame, a convergence on the MACD is a sign or a signal to go long. That's traditionally what you want to expect and see. But a 4-hour MACD convergence means nothing going into terrible news. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Technical data can only get you so far. The fundamentals, everything that's going on in the world has a big impact, right? And we all know, probably hopefully by now, that there is definitely some crazy stuff in the world right now. And we need to kind of respect the fact that that hasn't come to full fruition yet. Okay. So, in that sense, I would say just be cautious and careful and try not to put all your eggs in one basket. I think I say that a lot in the downward market, but it means even more so right now, just based on the simple fact that yes, it's okay to dollar cost average. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are in a situation where the price is coming down and you're trying to find the bottom, I don't know if the bottom is in just yet. Okay, so again, shorter term holds, maybe some swing trades there. You may want to just hold off for the moment, or maybe just take a small position. Don't go all in, like I mentioned, just based on the simple fact that we're getting rejected by this resistance level here, obviously. And furthermore, too, even though we have a convergence in the MACD, that's usually a good signal to go long. I like to see that. We're getting a lot of selling pressure right around 42,800, and the fact that we haven't had that news yet. Okay, or we haven't heard anything yet until we get, the feds have said, hey, this is what we're trying to say. They're not going to call an emergency meeting for nothing. We're going to hear something soon. When that happens, we'll know specifically what the market wants to do. Okay, again, but based on the technicals right now, simply put, we're looking pretty decent here in that sense. The MACD just converged. We're trying to break above a resistance level and haven't yet. So again, that's kind of conflicting information, but it's not bad, right? We've had a nice little push here to the upside, and the last 12 to 24 hours have been looking pretty decent for a recovery, right? Until we break 42,800, though, I would not consider this to be bullish on the midterm or the short term, right? Again, we're not bullish on the macro either. Keep in mind as well, even though, yes, we have a green month so far, we're not in phenomenal shape just yet. We need a little bit more consolidation at this price point in order to go from here, right? Again, you'll see what I mean by that as we progress throughout the week. But for now, again, this weekend data, it's hard to really trust because of the fact that it's a lot lower volume, a lot less volume, and in turn, it doesn't really give us the more accurate results. Regardless of that fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. We can see the price action is getting rejected by that. Of course, you can see the cloud is synonymous with that resistance level at 42,800. So the price cannot break above the cloud here soon, and that wouldn't be a consideration to go long, right? Also bear in mind too, the lagging span just broke free to clear the price action. So typically when you try to take a position, based on the cloud itself, just say for example that's your only indicator you're using, which I don't recommend, but if it is only an indicator, you want to wait for obviously all three things to happen: lagging span to be free of any price action, the price to be above the cloud, and then of course conversion line above the baseline. So we're checking all three of those boxes almost. It's just that until the price is actually closed well enough above the cloud is a consideration to take entry. You don't want to just, as soon as the price peaks above the cloud, take entry, because had you done that, you would have potentially had a problem here, right? So again, always wait for the price to be clearly above the cloud before you take entry, and obviously make sure the lagging span is free and clear of any price action, which it is now, but it wasn't an hour ago. So had you just say trying to take a position there, you would have seen this rejection and possibly got stopped out. Again, depending on your position, there's a whole lot of things that factor in here. But generally speaking, I just want you to be careful when you take a position off the cloud. You want to wait for confirmation. I would say maybe 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours would be ideal to ensure the price stays above the cloud, right? Because again, the price comes down here, then we're going to see that that's not going to happen. That's going to work as a resistance, and there's potential of a turnaround that way. Speaking of turnaround, let's go ahead and take a look at the TD sequential. So this is, again, one of my favorite time frames, and just so you know too, I got this question recently from one of my community members. Should we only use the TD sequential on the 1 hour chart? Definitely no. It's good to use on the 1 hour chart because it helps you understand momentum and turnarounds. But if you see, just say for example, a 9 on the 4 hour chart, and then you see a 6 on the 1 hour, you've probably only got about 3 hours left of continuation. But if you're at like a 2 or 3 on the 4 hour and you're seeing a 6 on the 1 hour, then it could very well go a lot longer, right? So the more 9s you see, the more closer to 9s that you see, then the worse it gets. And if we look at the 4 hour, we can see here we're at a 3, right? So this continuation of the upside could very well continue much higher. And it is trying to break free. It's trying to add volume to this price point here around 42,600. So again, the likelihood of it breaking to the upside here is getting higher, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if the price breaks above, possibly gets rejected and comes back down below, or breaks above and continues for a few more days. Again, depending on the news from today, I think would allow for that to happen. We're not there yet, but just strictly technical data alone and what you see here, simply put, we're at a 6. We have potential of 3 more hours of continuation of the upside. Being at a 6 going into a major resistance isn't the greatest in my personal opinion, because it's already kind of losing that steam. It's tried to push up 2 or 3 times, and it's losing that push, right? In other words, the bears are creating a strong resistance. They're trying to sell every time the price gets to that point, and it's causing a reversal, or should cause a reversal soon. That's just, again, my personal opinion. This doesn't look super strong, but again, it regularly, just normally speaking, I would say that it could continue to the upside. It's looking like it's trying to break that. Okay. So what I'm getting at here is that that this is a very good sign, but try not to buy into the fact that this looks very, very tasty and tempting, that the price will continue to increase. If it does, it might be a fake out. I would highly recommend just maybe consider waiting till the end of the trading day today. And if you're impatient and you don't want to wait, that's okay. Maybe dollar cost average, or use a small percentage of your portfolio to consider taking an entry. But do not just put everything you have into Bitcoin right now and expect it just to continue to shoot to the moon. There's given us no indication that it wants to do that. This downward momentum that we're in, this trend, I don't think has come to full fruition yet. We're still not making higher highs and higher lows, unless you consider only the 15-minute chart. Then yeah, of course we're making higher highs and higher lows. But this is temporary, right? This could get stopped out easy. I don't like higher highs and higher lows on the 15-minute chart. Yes, it tells you that there's a potential turnaround in the 1 hour, but there's no other signal or sign that we are making those kind of that kind of progression, right? We're still seeing lower highs and lower lows in the 4 hour, and that to me is more important. Okay, so until we break 42,800, specifically on the 1-day chart, then we have no reason to consider taking entry, right? So we really ultimately want to see the 1-day candle close above 48.8 to see any potential of a reversal, at least to the upside for now. I still don't think we've had enough data to get the price to come down far enough, but that's just my personal opinion. Again, the bottom could be in, right? 41,600 where it hit recently 2 days ago, that could be the bottom. But until the news comes to a head and we have a little less craziness in the world, I think we're going to continue to see some sideways action, this up and down between 35 and 45. I think that's a pretty strong reality here for the near future. I don't think we should be overly optimistic right now, and I just think we should proceed with caution. So once again, dollar cost average with care. If you're going to take a position, take a smaller position and make sure you pay attention to it. And I just wouldn't expect the price to shoot up here from now, just based on the way that things are going. Again, until we hear the news, there's no reason to take entry, in my opinion, just again, based on the fact that we don't know much, right? Again, I think we could see a reversal here soon. I just kind of feeling like this is one of those little dead cats that's gonna possibly drop the bottom again. I hope it doesn't happen, trust me, I really don't. But it just feels like it's kind of a fake out here, or a little premature in my personal opinion. Okay. All right. Anyways, enough rambling. I hope you learned something here today. Please let me know, of course, if you did, comment below. If you're not currently a community member, consider joining. Of course, I do have a trading academy that you can go ahead and learn how to become a better trader. Just a series of videos kind of educating you on the basics and understanding more fundamental how, the mindset of being a good trader. And then I'm building on that library, of course, with more advanced trading techniques soon to come. Also, I send out signals for every single trade that I take in case that helps you kind of structure your trades so you understand a little bit better about how to become a better trader. All right. Thanks again for your time. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon.